back on the floor. You're on there. We're on here. So, those of you that are watching live, at some point go back to my page and take a look. I shot some video of the refrigerator here at the station. And so you have to go back and see that video because it's good.
I understand there's some science projects in there. Or
at
least one.
I don't know if it's a science project. It's meat from a pitch-in that was on Halloween. So it's 16 days. And it's probably fine, but I think we should, it's in a crock pot already, and it's just sitting in there. And I think what we should do is go ahead and warm it up, see how it smells.
No, yeah, I'll give you $10 to go eat it right now.
No,
just a couple bites.
Because that's not going to pay. That's not going to pay the copay. All right, let's do some radio. I got to have faith, the faith, the faith. I've got to have faith, the faith, the faith.
It's the Wake Up Call with Phil Quinn, brought to you by Phillips Drugs on Richmond's Classic Hits, 1017 The Point.
Thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call. It is 6:42. Good morning. Jeff Lane is back after a much-needed break. Just got that Miami game just lasts too long, and so you got to take a day off. I totally get it, but thanks for being back.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Well,
I don't know. We've got a couple things to talk about today, outside of the stuff. Did you see this Thursday night football game? A Cleveland Browns player, defensive end, Myles Garrett, trying to sack Pittsburgh's quarterback, something Rudolph, I think is his last name. Somehow gets the helmet comes off, and then he starts swinging it, and hits the quarterback in the head.
Yeah, right upside the head. Like El Kabong.
I mean, look, don't bring a knife to a helmet fight. I don't know what's going on. This play, I think I'd suspend him not for just one game and fine him. I mean, he may be done for the season. Good Lord.
Yeah, he'll be done for a while, for sure.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So, how are you?
Well, I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm all right.
All right. I had to take a shower in the dark this morning.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And I put my phone, I laid it up against the sink so the light shone through the glass shower door. It's the first time I've ever taken a shower under a spotlight. And I thought about singing a little bit, so I cleared the pipes. Oh, and then I washed up and came to work.
Well, you weren't alone, if that makes you feel any better. That's because a transformer blew it around 3 o'clock, 3:30, somewhere in there this morning in the area of South 7th Street. It knocked out power to much of Richmond's south side, including Phil Quinn's palatial estate.
Yeah, right.
Crews responded. They were able to get power, fully responded, we think, around 4:30 this morning.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, as quickly as they got it back on, I mean, do you realize how hard that is?
Oh.
I mean, who's doing that job?
Yeah.
Especially when it was raining.
And dark, in the middle of the night, and cold, yeah.
And 20 minutes later, boom, fixed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Brent Wolf at RP&L. He's like, hey, we appreciate the shout out. Because you don't know how good you got it till you don't have it.
You got that right, Brent.
Yeah, so,
Yep.
Anyway.
The annual business outlook was yesterday, the presentation at Richmond High School.
Oh, Lord.
The majority of Whitewater Valley business owners are optimistic about 2020.
Are they cautiously optimistic? That's the thing. It happens all the time. What does that mean? I'm sorta okay. So is that glass half full? Is it?
54% say they think the economy will be better in 2020. We're talking about the local economy, not nationally.
They are lying. They are lying to themselves. If 54% of the people think the economy next year is better than this year, get out of here. I mean, what are you selling? Lotto tickets? Are you selling free syringes? What are you talking about?
Only 19% have a negative outlook. Everybody else is about the same.
I can go with the same, but it ain't going to get better. What are you talking about? All right.
What they say?
All right.
What they say?
Fine.
Union County, a plea agreement for a farmer who mistreated his cows. In fact, up to 100 cows were malnourished. 38 were found dead earlier this year. Rodney Sense getting probation in that case. Along with the crime of that category, we'll stay with that and say that police have now identified the Henry County couple who broke into a home and tied up some residents there in eastern Henry County. Actually, they know who they are. Their names have not been released, and I don't think that they are in custody. But some excellent surveillance pictures were released yesterday, and it didn't take investigators long to get an identification there. I'm surprised there's not more chatter about this, about what I'm going to tell you about here locally, because it's pretty big on the jobs front. Another indication that General Motors is planning on building a brand new plant just off of I-70 in Brookville, Ohio, which if you don't know where that is, that's only a 20-minute drive from the state line on I-70. The records show that they paid $3 million for 75 acres of land. $175 million is the investment.
Good Lord.
Yeah, well over 100 really, really good-paying auto manufacturing jobs are expected with this.
So here's my worry. Who's buying GM products? I mean, they're not flying off the shelves. So do they know what they're going to make there? Is it going to be parts, or
it's
is
going
it
to be engine parts?
Okay,
yeah, engine components.
Well, that's good because maybe you can sell those to Toyota. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm worried about that. I mean, they just got done with a UAW agreement. You know, I guess I'd be more excited if I knew that the future of GM was solid, and I just don't know that.
Yeah, but these are going to be really, really good paying jobs, and a 20-minute drive is no big deal.
When you say really good, can I tell you, I was listening to, maybe it was a podcast talking about the lack of construction workers available to work in places where there were forest fires last year, Paradise, California. They are paying, no lie, $30 an hour for skilled trade jobs in the construction industry in Paradise. And the reason why there's a shortage is because the rest of California, like more towards LA, San Diego, that sort of thing, they're getting $50 an hour for construction jobs. Now, I get it. Living in California is much more expensive. The taxes are higher. You probably can't even use an electric skill saw there. But $50 an hour, I don't know why there aren't some people that are graduating from trade school here and going, kids, we're getting in the RV and headed west. But I just, what do you think these jobs will pay? 25, 30?
Oh, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think so.
All right.
All right, and we'll end with this. I'm sure you remember this when Indiana and Ohio were on different times.
My favorite.
Part of the year, Ohio was an hour ahead. Some people loved it, some hated it. Chances are that if you loved it, it's because your TV shows came on an hour earlier.
Right.
But that could, not likely, but could happen again. That's because a bill's advancing through the Ohio State House that would require Ohio to observe daylight saving time all year long. Of course, the federal government has the ultimate say, and they're unlikely to budge on it. But if it actually did happen, Ohio residents this coming spring would set their clocks forward an hour and then never touch them again.
So what we like about this is that there are people that have made sense of the fact that we don't need daylight savings time anymore. Now, Indiana should by no means participate in this whatsoever. If anything, we'd never go forward again and stay on Central Time and put the whole state on Central Time. We've talked about that a long time now. But California passed a law, and now the NCAA is figuring out how to pay players. So if we can move that rock, we can certainly move the federal government. You just need some states to adopt this law to get the federal government to wake up to this. Because I don't think we need daylight savings time anymore. I really don't.
Yeah, some already have. I know Tennessee has. And,
well, there you go. But Tennessee's not a swing state. Ohio's a swing state. But I love the idea of Ohio being an hour early, not because of television shows necessarily, but I like the idea that Indiana starts to resemble and stay closer to what happens with Chicago, and the entire state could go Central Time, and I like that idea. I just don't know what Illinois is going to do. They're weird over there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not Kentucky weird, but they're weird. All right, so here's our question of the day. San Antonio, Texas, in the neighborhood, this guy decides he's going to put out his Christmas decorations early because he's got some stuff to do. the homeowners association rolls up a letter and says, hey, too early for your Christmas decorations. But they don't tell him what the date he could put his decorations up. They just said, yeah, you're just too early. We've had complaints. Now, I get homeowners associations because you don't want your neighbor painting their house polka dot. So I get it. But then he told the story. The reason why he put his Christmas decorations up early this year is his wife is 8 months pregnant. The homeowners association went, meh. And so the other neighbors around this guy put out their outdoor decorations. And it got us thinking, if the homeowners association had just set a date and said, hey, we really prefer it if you don't put any decorations up until the week of Thanksgiving. So that's our question of the day. Is it okay to pass a law that says, hey, no outdoor Christmas decorations until the week of Thanksgiving? Now, I'm all for this. I'm not for a whole bunch of laws, but I think this is kind of fun and tongue-in-cheek. I think that you could do this. Sort of like campaign signs. Like everybody agrees not to put out their campaign signs too early.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I would not support the law, but I would support this. Here's a hot take.
All right.
I would support a statement from any prosecutor or police chief saying, hey, if you put your Christmas lights out before Thanksgiving, we're not going to arrest anybody who TPs your house or anything like that, because you got it coming. You got it coming.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Well, my thought was if you want to put them out early, you got to go pick up all the grocery carts in town. You got to pick up all the ones that are laying around in yards and parks and on the sidewalks. You do that, we'll give you a pass.
There you go.
Because that helps me.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the effect of all this. You know why people are gripe and complain in February that the winter's been so long and so miserable? Because you made it winter. You made it winter on November the 1st when you put up your Christmas decorations.
Right. And there is something to be said for waiting from Halloween and getting into the whole fall part. We just go from Halloween decorations to Christmas decorations, and we bypass all that cornucopia stuff that we used to hang out and put in there.
Don't get me started.
That's the whole idea, is to get you started. And that's why we have success that we've had on Facebook Live. All right, Jeff. Hey, thanks, man.
See ya.
Funeral arrangements in advance is...
All right, sports fans. Thank you for watching today. Coming up, Olivia Dudas and the Traveling Bags of Kindness. And I'll figure out why my hands are flailing like that, because that looked weird. Have a good weekend.